Hello, my name is Tina Jones. I hope that by making these videos I can communicate to you that people with autism are people of very broad amount of traits, and I'm one. I have a high functioning form of autism called Asperger's, and as you can see, I can definitely look at a camera and I can make eye contact. I've learned to do that because I love painting people, and it was impossible for me um, without eye contact. I needed to know what your eyes looked like, and so I looked close. And when I see you, I see amazing things. If you have experienced something like the birth of a newborn child, or the first time seeing the Grand Canyon, or perhaps the Northern Lights, Niagara Falls, uh, Taj Mahal, any of the world's wonders, you know something of what I felt the first time I was able to make not only eye contact, but prolonged eye contact. What I'm doing when I look at people is that I am um, taking apart the eye as I would draw you and paint you. You are works of art to me. And many times when I'm looking at someone, I am so emotionally moved that my own eyes fill with tears. And it's real hard to see you through watery eyes. But my God, you're beautiful. I am a painter. I'm a portrait artist, and I do classical portraiture as well as I've done the last year or so. I've done quite a bit of um, sort of feeling paintings, expressionistic work, and I've done a lot of black and white work. I started that because I needed a very simple um, medium, and I went from oils to acrylics, and I needed a simple palette. So where I had been using an array of colors, I needed something that I could set up quickly and work on quickly. And the reason that I needed that was that I had cancer, and I had the same cancer that Farrah Fawcett died from. I am whole and well now. I am physically changed, but I am healthy and extremely grateful and happy. Um, I spent 8 months on a sofa and laying there because I could not sit up. So once I got to the point where I could sit for minutes at a time, I had to have something I could set up very quickly. During that 8 months, I got most of my serenity by imagining painting the ceiling. Um, I would count every little speckle on the ceiling, and in a lot of ways, my autism got me through because I can picture people I've known in great detail. I can picture their faces. I can remember the births of my own children. I can remember amazing things, funny moments, a lot of things, and very in a very big way. My life flashed before me. So very grateful to be alive. Uh, I I don't sing, or rather I do, and I do it exceedingly poorly. So I do have a sense of humor, and a lot of people don't seem to know that that is a characteristic that autistic people can have. Um, I need to tell you that my terrible twos lasted longer than most kids. I was a child who stimmed a lot. I still do. I have a hum in my voice, which I am trying grateful, or sorry, I messed up. I am trying very hard to control right now. I don't really have an opinion on whether or not it should be controlled. I just want you to be able to understand me, so that's why I'm doing it. So let's see, I just got a little nervous. I'll probably start doing it. now if I haven't already. I don't usually hear it. I was a child who screamed in supermarkets. I was one who would sit in the floor with my feet apart and bang my forehead gently on the floor to calm myself. So I had what would be now a lot of real obvious characteristics of autism, but my speech did develop on time, so they say I have Asperger's. I have a son with severe autism. He's 22 years old. He was diagnosed now 20 years ago. So we grew up together through a whole lot of this. And reading Temple Grandin's first book, I really wanted to help my son, and he was not making any eye contact. There was no indication whatsoever that he was even aware that anyone was around. There was no response to people. So reading that book was to learn about him, but what happened was I saw me in every page of it, right down to the wool hat she couldn't stand. I mean, I had this horrible one that was real tight, and it had a brim on it, and it had these little bumps. Someone had crocheted into it, and I guess it's called a popcorn stitch, and I call it a living hell. I just couldn't stand the prickly feeling of something next to me. And right now there's a tag in my shirt on my side that is driving me nuts, or crazy, or something like that. There are a lot of things I couldn't stand the feel of grass on my feet, and I still don't like that at all. Um, my my son, the way he learned to speak was I had remembered reading uh, many years ago. I think in school I read about a lady who was born deaf and mute, and her tutor held her hands underwater and put her hands on her throat and on the tutor's throat, and she would say the word water, and the lady learned that making a throat noise represented a thing, water. And so my son loved baths, and I spent countless hours, day after day after day, with him in that tub. And I would take a cup, and I'd give him a cup, and I'd pick it up and pour it out, the water. And every time I would pour it very slowly, and I'd notice that when he saw the water, he would look at the water. And it was the first time I noticed him acknowledging anything outside of himself. Um, so every time I poured the water, I would say water. And it went on for months and months and months, and I would not give up. And one day I was doing this, and I was probably half asleep. I wasn't even thinking about it. It had just become habit by then. And I poured it, and I said water, and his eyes went from the water directly to me, and I was stunned. And then they went away again, and we didn't have any eye contact for a few months after that. So progress was very slow. His terrible twos lasted till about age 6. And the news I want to tell you is that this is not a permanent state. They told me he would never speak. They told me he would never be able to take care of himself. Well, he's 22. He speaks eloquently. He knows words I don't know. Like me, he loves reading dictionaries. He loves reading encyclopedias. You can't put a cap on what he can learn. He's just an amazing young man, and I am incredibly proud of him and incredibly honored to know him, and not because he's autistic Not because he's my son, but because he's a really neat human being. And um, I don't know anyone who's met him who doesn't fall in love with him. And I only wish I were that charming. I'm not. So anyway, God, I want to tell you that that things change, that growth is possible. And gosh, I remember being a mom and being just totally lost. Maybe for the 14th night in a row, 2 hours of sleep a night. I remember this stuff. And I can tell you that it passes. The amazing things happen. And gosh, don't miss it. Don't miss it for anything. I hear a lot of stories in the news about parents that give up. And, uh, and it's really sad. Um, it's horrifying. I hear a lot of stories about treatments that are given to kids that are experimental, like chelation. And it frightens me. It frightens me not only for the damage that can be done, it frightens me because the world might miss out on knowing someone like my son. They might miss out on knowing even someone like me. I think it's sad that I have to tell people what I've contributed to the world in order to seemingly qualify as a human being. I can tell you I've done thousands of paintings. I've taught hundreds of people how to paint. I can tell you that I raised two amazing children. One is neurotypical. She's brilliant. She's an incredible mom. I'm a grandma. Imagine that. I have two amazing grandchildren. They're neurotypical too. I get to play with these kids because I held on through another day when it was very hard. Because I chose to take the moment and laugh with my kids. Because it was very beautiful. Because I chose to see the humor, the joy that they felt. Because I let my son let me know that it was okay for me to watch a trail of ants, count, count the cars on a train. It's okay to have little joys. No one knows how to stop and smell the roses like someone with autism. They say we don't have compassion. I cry for a world who wants to cure us. I cry for the organizations who want to develop prenatal testing so that we might not be born. And I do not like to think of the someday when those who might succeed might say, "What have we done?" Because you will have erased your own beauty. Because we are you. It's just that parts developed a little more and parts didn't develop as much. The part that makes eye contact and wears lipstick and cares what brand something is, it just didn't develop. The part of you that believes in possibility, the part of you that believes in miracles and creates them, it did. The part of you that sees solutions and logic, the part of you that takes chances and changes the world no matter what anyone thinks, We're right here, and we're beside you, me beside us. Thank you for listening.